No filters, no management excuses, just the raw, uncut truth from the heart of oil country. You're listening to Loyal to the Oil, podcast for fans who bleed blue and orange. Let's drop the puck. Hello, what's good, oil country? Welcome back to Loyal to the Oil. It is Monday, June 29th, 2026, and if you thought the drama ended when management hired Mike Babcock last Tuesday, you haven't been paying any attention. We're dead center in the absolute wildest week of the NHL calendar. The 2026 NHL draft just wrapped up in Buffalo over the weekend. Today, the team dropped their RFA qualifying offers, and NHL free agency officially blows its doors open this Wednesday, July 1st. So while other teams are weaponizing assets, pulling off blockbusters, and reshaping their futures, our general manager, Stan Bowman, is completely frozen in ice. Today, we are putting his entire offseason execution under the microscope. We're breaking down in a painfully quiet draft where the Oilers were the lone Canadian team completely locked out of the first round. Then we're launching into a full-blown rant about the ticking time bomb that is the Darnell Nurse contract stalemate, which insiders just revealed has officially entered a desperation phase. And finally, I'm issuing my own official report card for Stan Bowman's management performance this offseason so far. So grab your coffee or a cold beer, because we are diving right into this mess. Okay, first things first, let's start things off with what happened this past weekend. That was the 2026 edition of the NHL entry draft. So, it's generally supposed to be the ultimate sandbox for aggressive general managers. And, we saw some wild trade action beforehand. Most notably, there was that, in my opinion, awful trade between the Chicago Blackhawks and the Buffalo Sabres, where the Sabres shipped off defenseman Bowen Byram in, for the for the fourth overall pick. And I just want to say, what is Kyle Davidson doing? But surely he can't be as bad as our own Stan Bowman. But yeah, that was like the first time in nearly 20 years that we saw the fourth overall pick traded post lottery. And, the league, as always, is operating with maximum offseason aggression right now. And what did the Oilers do? Well, they just sat completely on their hands. So, we went into the draft weekend without a first round draft pick. We were supposed to pick 20th as of where we finished in the playoffs, but so what exactly happened with that pick was it went to the Sabres because of a trade on June 17th this year that sent Michael Kesselring and a first-round pick in 2026, the 27th overall, to the San Jose Sharks. But San Jose, previously as a result of a trade on March 6th, where we acquired Jake Wallman in exchange for Carl Berglund, and the pick being conditional at the time. The condition was like if San Jose would receive a first round pick in 2026 if Edmonton didn't possess their first round pick in 2027 after the 2026 trade deadline, and it was then converted when Edmonton traded our 2027 first round pick on March 4th. So, yeah, there you go. And mind you, I think we all knew Gavin McKenna was going first overall anyway. But I don't personally pay too much attention to the drafts. I'm a football fan too, and at least when the NFL draft happens, these guys are expected to make an immediate impact because there's not really other than practice squads, there's not really a farm system in NFL like there is NHL. So most of these guys who get drafted, they're not going to be playing right away. They're probably going to be playing down in the minor leagues for many years. The only later pick that I can think of that debuted immediately after was Patrice Bergeron by the Bruins in 2003. What pick was he again? Because I know he immediately became a full-time player for the Bruins in the 03 season. Okay, 45th overall. Not bad. Anyway, sorry, that's not really important. I kind of went a little bit off topic here. But yeah, so we were without a first round pick this weekend. We would have had 20th pick. But instead of weaponizing our remaining picks to bring in immediate cap friendly roster players to help Connor McDavid win a Stanley Cup now while he's in the picture, Bowman traded down with Tampa Bay picks from pick 52 just to grab extra mid-round lottery tickets. Like with the 58th overall pick, we took Rudolfs Berzkalns, a 6'4" Latvian center. And then in the third round at 84, we grabbed Malcolm Gastronau of Sweden. I apologize if I'm not pronouncing that right. And then we rounded it out with a pair of Windsor Spitfires in rounds 5 and 6. Andrew Robinson and Caden Harvey. And then a 7th round goalie in Ryan Cameron, which is frankly is something we need. But um, again, like these guys are going to be playing in the minor leagues for a while, most likely, before they ever see NHL action, if they even do see it with the Oilers. Because I mean, obviously, if we're like in contention at the deadline, these are guys we could ship off to a struggling team to grab a rental for a playoff run. You know what I mean? And so Berzkalns, he's headed to Boston College and might be a fine player in 4 years. But guess what? We don't have 4 years. We have exactly 2 years left on McDavid's contract. We are in an all-out maximum pressure win-now window. Standing pat and drafting project players tells me that this front office just has zero creative answers. Oh, and just to show that they can fill out paperwork in some form, the Oilers announced their RFA qualifying offers today. So they qualified Colton Dock, Roby Jarventy. Again, sorry if I'm not pronouncing that right. I need to brush up on that. Owen Michaels and defenseman Peter Stastney. And in the meanwhile, they cut ties completely by walking away from forwards Josh Bloom and Matvey Petrov. Great. You qualified a few depth pieces, but let's talk about the $9.25 million anchor holding up the entire franchise. Which brings me to the nuclear disaster that is the Darnell Nurse trade request. Now, personal story before I dive in deeper. I haven't really liked Darnell Nurse, especially in recent years. He's like that contract of his is just bad. And when I learned the announcement of him requesting a trade, I'm like, yeah, good. Please leave. You're holding us back, like performance on the ice wise and salary cap wise. Like he's being paid like he's a top 10 or even top 5 defenseman in the league when he's not. Shoot, I think like until Kale McCarr gets his long overdue raise next year. I don't think even he makes that much money. Actually, yeah, how much does Kale McCarr make? Let me see. Kale McCarr, sorry. You gotta love iPhones. Where would we be without them today? Just 1 second, people. Kale McCarr contract. Oh, okay. So he's making 9 million, but he's entering the final. Okay, all right. He's entering the final year. But still, I mean, like, bottom line, Nurse is still making more than McCarr, and McCarr is like widely considered the best defenseman in the league, even in years that he's not winning the Norris Trophy. But again, sorry, I'm getting a little sidetracked here. So the latest updates today from Darren Dreger and Elliot Friedman confirmed that this situation has officially developed into what insiders are calling a desperation phase. Sorry, Dr. Evil impression. Both sides desperately wanted a deal done before July 1st to give the Oilers cap certainty. But right now, that entire process is completely jammed. And as of when I'm writing and recording this, yeah, less than 2 days away. Not looking good. But we finally know his exact trade list. Nurse submitted a strict list of only three teams he would accept a trade to: the Boston Bruins, Pittsburgh Penguins, and Philadelphia Flyers. That's it. That's all. That's the list. Uh, No, seriously, I really hope you weren't expecting me to say more than that, because that's kind of it. And yeah, according to Drieger, again, I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing these names right. Stan Bowman worked his tail off over the weekend, talked to all three teams, got to a specific valuation place with them, and negotiations just completely stalled out. And why, might you ask? Because none of those three teams, like, want a defenseman making 9.25 million per year for the next 4 years, unless Edmonton retains a massive chunk of the salary. And quite frankly, do you blame them? Here's another kicker from David Pinata today. Rival teams like the San Jose Sharks and the Anaheim Ducks have explicitly re-engaged in trade discussions with Bowman. They want Nurse. They have the cap space, but because Nurse has a full no movement clause, he has flat out refused to expand his list to include them. He's completely holding the cards. Hey Stan, wake up! You're trapped between a rock and a hard place. The field of competitors is microscopic because Nurse won't give his blessing to the teams that can actually afford him. If you want to move him to Pittsburgh or Philly, you're going to have to eat like at least 30 to 50% of that cap hit for the next 4 years, or attach like a premium remaining prospects, which frankly I don't think is a good idea. And even if we retain salary, even just a small portion of it, like I still think it's gonna set us back wise. I'll explain all that in a bit. But yeah, Bowman is just refusing to give him away, which is why the draft night trade didn't happen. But if Bowman can't pull a rabbit out of his hat by Wednesday, we're stuck rolling into free agency with a disgruntled player, zero leverage, and a massive cap logjam. It's a toxic, completely mismanaged disaster. And trust me, is like I want Nurse gone too, but I personally don't think the perfect trade for him exists. At least not one that I would want. Okay, and because Bowman cannot resolve the Nurse contract before Wednesday, or is at least highly unlikely to, the Oilers are heading into free agency with their hands completely tied behind their backs. Uh, let's look at the numbers, okay? So Bowman chose to re-sign our mid-season depth rentals, Connor Murphy and Jason Dickinson, to identical 5-year contracts with different average annual values. Murphy's was 4.1 million average annual value, and Dickinson's was just 4 million flat. And actually, if you want my personal opinion on the deals, I don't think they're terrible. I mean, like we looked like a different unit, like penalty kill wise and defensively once we brought them into town. And I know they're not like expected to be point getters. I mean, we already got enough good point getters in McDavid and Draisaitl. Obviously, some depth is good. And of course, like Dickinson kind of helped solidify a need and like a third line center, that kind of thing. So yeah, I don't think the. I mean, I feel like 4 million's a slight overpay, but again, like I don't think his job necessarily is to generate points. I mean, he if he can score points, great, but I mean, he's been like a decent pickup kind of thing, and of course, I do have concerns over the length of these deals. Like these guys are both in their early to mid 30s, and I know like Murphy's 33, but how old's Jason Dickinson again? I feel like I should know this, but okay, he's just 30 years old. Okay, actually, you know what? Maybe I just I think maybe 5 years is just a little too long on the wrong side of 30. That's just my opinion, but I think he'll be 31 soon. But anywho, yeah. So those two guys were re-signed for 5 years for almost identical value. But if you add in Jake Wallman's heavy $7 million cap hit kicking in, Oilers are entirely strapped. We only have about 6.4 million to 7.4 million dollars in total cap space left to fill out the remaining roster spots. So we can't afford elite top six wingers. We can't afford elite shutdown defenseman. Can't really fix our goaltending depth either, even with like the free agents that are available. I've took a look through them, and they're definitely not ideal. I wouldn't consider any of them an upgrade over Jari or Ingram. Ingram's a UFA too, so I don't know. I'm curious to see what we do with them. But yeah, I just want to say too, if Major League Baseball decides to implement a salary cap for the next CBA, yeah, those teams with high payrolls like the Dodgers and the Yankees, well, you're gonna have so much fun not being able to pay all the good players all the money in the world. Because just imagine, I mean, if like that same thing was in hockey, where like teams could like spend as little or as much as they wanted on players, then yeah, I think there would be bigger market teams just monopolizing all the talent, like with the Dodgers and Yankees and all those teams. But okay, I keep getting sidetracked, but I guess I got to make this podcast interesting for you viewers. But yeah, so with like our limited cap space we have to really improve the team enough for McDavid to finally get his Stanley Cup and hopefully stick around in Edmonton in the more long term. Um, we're gonna have to go shopping strictly in the bargain bin. So I think all we can really sign are just like we're just reduced to praying. We can sign depth guys like Alexander Kerfoot, Connor Clifton, Beck Malenstein, just to cheap deals to patch holes on a sinking ship. And of course, we need a goalie too. But you know, Tristan Jarry to be the very mediocre goalie he is, he's making like over $5 million, and I mean that contract the Penguins signed him to just aged poorly. We could have got him on waivers for free when they waived him a couple seasons ago. But no, we make that dumb trade with the Penguins to send Stuart Skinner the other way. It looks like he's a pending UFA too, so just imagine how funny it'd be if we brought him back. But anyway, let's get to it now. My official report card for Stan Bowman's performance as general manager of the Oilers this offseason. I'm giving him a generous 2 out of 10. I think just being able to retain Dickinson and Murphy is the only thing preventing me from giving him something lower. But I mean, I guess there was only so much we could do, like without a first round pick, and I highly doubt he was wanting to give up more valuable prospects or assets to get a high pick. But I guess it kind of is what it is. The draft's gone by. It was just free agency and the rest of the offseason to look forward to now. But I mean, he's completely failing the offseason. Like he fired a coach in Chris Knobloch that took us to back finals. Like we were up against a really hard to beat Florida Panthers team, and sure we were just short the 1 year. But yeah, but to replace him with Mike Babcock, a coaching lightning rod with a massive cultural baggage, he just stood completely pat at the draft while the rest of the league got better. If you guys want to know who I think were the biggest winners of that draft, San Jose Sharks, 100%. Like I think I think they could definitely be a top three team in the Pacific, and because they drafted well and of course, the free agency hasn't even opened yet as of when I'm writing this, but they just barely missed out on the playoffs last year, and I'm excited to see what kind of step Macklin Celebrini takes. But yeah, even Calgary, our bitter rivals, had 2 first round picks. Yeah, but anyway, back to Bowman. He's also completely stalled out on the Darnell Nurse trade front. So this isn't championship management, I can tell you that. Oh, but Stan Bowman won like 3 Stanley Cups with the Chicago Blackhawks. Yeah, because he inherited a young rebuilding team when he took over as their general manager. Not that hard to do, and the team kind of fell apart after they won their cups by like, not being able to re-sign the young players and, tying too much money to the aging core of Jonathan Taves, Patrick Kane, Duncan Keith, etc. But This is a front office panicking, getting paralyzed by the salary cap, and actively wasting a historic win now window, while one of the greatest players, if not the greatest player of this generation, is only signed for 2 more years, but still hasn't won a Stanley Cup despite having almost all the hardware in the world, from Hart trophies, Art Ross trophies, Ted Lindsay awards, you name it. No Stanley Cups, and I guess, no gold medals at the Olympics. Poor guy. But, oh well. Well, guys, believe it or not, that is going to do it for today's episode of Loyal to the Oil. Free agency opens on Wednesday, and you better believe we will be right back here to break down whatever bargain bin scraps Bowman throws our way. But I want to hear from you, Oil Country. What grade are you giving Stan Bowman's offseason so far? And would you trade Darnell Nurse to fill your Boston, even if it meant retaining 30% or more of his salary? Please let me know. I want to hear from you. In the meantime, subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Leave a review, drop a comment, and let's get this debate rolling. That's it for episode 2 of Loyal to the Oil. Subscribe now, drop your comments below, and don't let management gaslight you. Keep it locked right here all season long. Stay loud, stay passionate, and stay loyal to the blue and orange. See ya, Oil Country.